Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. I'm so pleased to welcome you all to Oakville alongside my colleagues, Minister Flack, MPP Triantafilopoulos, and Mayor Rob Burton. This is a proud moment for our community. Last year, Oakville just didn't meet the provincial housing targets. We exceeded it. In 2024, Oakville broke ground on 3,679 new homes, which is 134% of the target. This is an incredible achievement, and it speaks to the leadership of Mayor Burton, Oakville Council, and the hard work of everyone who was involved in making this possible. Today's announcement will support the infrastructure we need, things like roads, water systems, community spaces, to keep the housing growth and to ensure Oakville remains one of the best communities in Ontario. Building homes is more about bricks and mortar. It's about ensuring families, first-time homebuyers and seniors have access to the homes they can afford and communities they can thrive in. It's about keeping the dream of home ownership alive for the people of Oakville and across all of Ontario. I'm proud of the progress we've made, but I'm even more excited by what's ahead. By working together, the province, our municipalities, and our community partners, we can continue to build faster, smarter, and make sure more people have a place to call home. I want to thank Minister Flack for this well-deserved recognition. I look forward to continuing to work together to build strong, vibrant communities in the future. It's my pleasure right now to introduce my colleague, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the Honourable Rob Flack.
Well, thank you for the kind introduction, Stephen. Great to be here with you and Effie Triantafilopoulos. We're very, very pleased to see Council here and all the people who do great work in the town, not the city, the town of Oakville. I've been given my lessons, but acts like a village, right? Close enough.
Very close.
And obviously, I'm very happy to be here with Mayor Burton and the Council who have made today's announcement possible, because it isn't the provincial government that did this. You guys did. You created the environment to get these housing starts. I'd also like to acknowledge Chief Administration Officer Jane for their continued support and collaboration. We all know that we're in the midst of a generational housing crisis. I don't think there's any secret about that. We are a population today of 16 million people, double what it was when I was in high school, and I must say I'm a Streetsville, Ontario boy. I remember playing Oakville, Trafalgar in basketball throughout high school, so there's some pretty good rivalries. Always had a really good basketball team, I might put out. But it's amazing to see how this community, Halton, and towns, villages, cities in Peel County and Halton have grown immensely. And while the growth is positive, obviously we all know housing starts have not kept pace across the province. And as a result, we have seen more and more first-time homebuyers, families and seniors being pushed out of the housing market. This has to change, and it's our collective duty to be part of the solution for that change. And that is why we introduced in 2023 the $1.2 billion Building Faster Fund to reward municipalities that lead by example when it comes to cutting red tape and creating the conditions to get homes built. Through the Building Faster Fund, these fast-growing municipalities are being rewarded with funding for housing-enabling infrastructure. As Minister Crawford spoke about, we need the roads, the sidewalks, the sewers, and more to see this growth. And infrastructure, I might add, is probably the #1 ingredient we need to work on in this province, invest in this province, to ensure that infrastructure supports new housing growth. It's needed right across Ontario. This year, Oakville will be rewarded, as Minister Crawford said, $13.2 million for breaking ground on just about 3,700 new homes in 2024, 134% increase. Second year in a row, I might add, that Oakville has received part of the Building Faster Fund, and the Mayor will probably tell you, I'll still a little of a sunder, that after 2 years, you're slightly ahead of your 2-year target, so well done. This year's a tougher year, we all know that. But 2 years, well done indeed, so congratulations. And we look forward to the future. We will continue to support our municipal partners in getting these homes built. Last spring, as I think everyone can remember, I hope you do at least, we do, the Protect Ontario by Building Faster and Smarter Act became law. This legislation is part of our plan to increase certainty for home builders and reduce the time it takes to get shovels in the ground, making it easier to build homes we so desperately need. Again, what we are doing is creating the conditions for our municipal friends, you folks, and the builders that do the job to get housing started. The stark reality is that it takes too long and it costs too much to build homes in Ontario. We're changing that. Our goal is simple: to ensure more people can own their piece of Ontario, their own piece of Canada. Municipal partners like Mayor Burton and building more homes means building. Burton, congratulations once again. I'll turn the mic over to you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Kind words. Building Faster Fund. Money for infrastructure is one of your purposes in creating the Building Faster. So it's working. Accomplish. We're on target for the first approved housing pledge, and despite economic uncertainty and the resetting of the housing market, we have 1,763 housing starts here, which is about a 53% of our 2025 target. Now, the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation reports our numbers differently, and we'll talk about that discrepancy a little later in my remarks. I'm confident that when the economy improves, we will overcome what looks to be a challenging 2025 and 2026 housing year. Everybody in housing, everybody responsible for getting more housing built, especially purchasers, who are a really important part of that puzzle, but also the builders, the developers, us municipalities, and the province, we all need stability on both the regulatory and the economic front in order to perform at our best and to achieve our targets. Purchasers in particular need stability to feel confident to make what is often the biggest investment they'll ever make in their lives. So uncertainty about change chills economic decisions, both large and small. And we've certainly seen that ever since the uncertainty principle took up residence in the White House. So to end on a brighter note, I want to acknowledge the incredible work of our staff, which is why they were invited here today. And I also want to point out that town staff played a key role in securing this funding by working with CMHC to correct their inaccurate count of Oakville's 2023 housing starts. And following that, my office was able to collaborate successfully with the Premier's office and with the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing to ensure our progress was recognized, and that resulted in the $7 million in Building Faster Fund money that we received last year. This November, 2 of our team members will present at a national data conference on how Oakville leverages digital mapping and data to guide housing initiatives and plan for future growth. Our CAO, Jane Closey, and her team are also supporting an Ontario Big City Mayors Working Group, which is focused on standardizing housing data and metrics so that you really can compare one city to another, and a start means a start means a start no matter what municipality you're in. Believe it or not, that's been a problem. And then, just to complete the praise for our staff's outstanding work, last week our staff's white paper, Planning Act Tools to Facilitate Development of Affordable Housing, was recognized by their peers with the 2025 Public Education Award from the Ontario Professional Planners Institute. So how's that for some good news? And I'll just say, as I always said in business at my television network, and this is consistent with the ABC rule of business, which is always be competing, onward and upward. Thank you, Minister.
Here.
We will now go to media questions. Media, please line up at the mic behind me. Please identify yourselves by name and outlet. It'll be one question, one follow-up. First question.
Hi, Minister. Barbara with QP Briefing.
Hi, Barbara.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Good morning. So it seems that the Premier decided not to waive the provincial part of the HST for now, and he said that is because the province can't afford to do it. So we ran the numbers real quick here, and it would actually cost the province about $895 million to waive the HST now, but then save about $6 billion in the future. And it would also, of course, help with the goal of building 1.5 million homes by 2031. So do you agree with the Premier's decision to hold on that? And also, is it a final decision, or is the government still thinking about that?
Well, thanks, Barbara. A couple of things. First of all, I'd like to see your math, because we're looking at all kinds of scenarios, obviously, so I don't think anything's perfectly baked in stone. What I begin to say is in the federal election last, Prime Minister Carney and his team announced that they would eliminate the HST on new homes for first-time home buyers, make municipalities whole on DCs. We've not seen that come through yet. I was in Vancouver 2 weeks ago with Minister Robertson and brought that to his attention more than once, very politely, I might add. But nonetheless, we're waiting to see what the federal government is going to do. That being said, we're doing a lot of things right now to get shovels in the ground. We all know, as the mayor just said, we're living in a time of uncertainty. Trump, is the HST going to be lowered? Are interest rates going to drop? Are costs going to come down? People are waiting. They're in a pause mode. So as the Premier, I can tell you the Premier talks to the Prime Minister at least once a week or very, very, very regularly. And that being said, I'll leave it to the two of them to come up with the final decision.
Thank you, Minister. I will send the Alex the numbers later. Actually, I guess, did you know if the Finance Minister made a rundown of the numbers like this? Do you have an estimate of this? A projection of these numbers, and also on the latest RASCON report, this report found that housing starts across 34 municipalities in Ontario have dropped by 40%. We already saw over 10,000 jobs lost in Toronto alone related to housing construction. So without waiving the HST, if you're not doing this, what's the alternative? Like, if you're not going to do that, how is the government going to get new sales moving again?
So I can tell you from the time the legislature rose until today, I've literally met with hundreds of builders, developers throughout the province. I have met with hundreds of municipalities, and we constantly are working to look at solutions. But I want to also talk about what we've done and done well. The Building Faster Fund is going to create a lot of new homes, and we're seeing results from that. The Premier announced at AMO another $1.6 billion for housing enabling infrastructure. That now adds up to $4 billion. We're looking at the possibility of municipal service corps for infrastructure in Peel County as a pilot project. We continue to create the conditions. We deferred DCs until occupancy in Bill 17. We reduced them totally on long-term care homes. And I'm pretty pleased to say that we're reducing red tape by reducing the amount of studies that municipalities can conduct to get building permits, and also standardizing, living with the building code. The code is king right across all 444 municipalities. That being said, we know we're in a tough crunch right now, and the bottom line is we're going to keep investigating ways to get it done.
This will be the last reporter.
Hi there. David Lee with the Oakville Beaver newspaper.
Hi, David.
Hello. Just wanted to ask if you plan on approving Oakville's Midtown OPA, and if so, if you plan to recommend that the province's TOC align with this OPA.
So I can tell you that the OPA 70 is with our municipality. It was posted on the ERO the Environmental Registry of Ontario. It's now closed. Public consultation has gone there, is complete. Obviously, the provincial policy statement is key to any official plan being approved or amendment being approved. That being said, that's what our ministry in the municipality is doing right now. And in time, I'm sure we'll have good news, but until the due diligence is done, I don't have anything further to say. Okay?
This will be the last question. This will be the end of our media conference. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Thank you all. Well done.